tuning in to the online broadcast network, AFTERBUZZ TV. Over 20 million weekly downloads in over 150 countries, and your number one source for after-show entertainment. AFTERBUZZ TV, the destination for TV superfans, producing after shows for over 300 of your favorite TV shows, interviewing celebrities and showrunners, and bringing you behind-the-scenes exclusives. All thanks to E! Entertainment's Maria Menounos, producer Kevin Undergaro, and internet leader Akamai. Now, let the buzz begin!
Bet you didn't know I could do that. Bet you didn't know I could do
Hello,
that.
everybody. Welcome to the Originals, Season 2, Episode 2, Alive and Kickin'. We are here alive and kicking right now. I am Roxy Striar alongside my amazing co-host, Jesse Janedy.
I'm unfortunately not kicking because I'm sitting on my feet.
Punch
In
his
case
head.
everyone wants to know what's going on
Is your
behind
foot
the
gonna
table.
go numb?
Probably, but this chair, I'm too short to sit next to Tiona, so I have to give myself
I'll do enough kicking for you. And of course, the beautiful Tiona Hobson.
Hello, everyone. I'm sorry I'm so tall, Jesse, and make you all short and
Oh,
stuff.
good things
alright.
come in
Your-
both size packages, tall and
your
short.
breasts make up for it.
Like,
Thank
where
you.
is this show going right now? Okay, and
We're alive and kicking.
We are live and kicking, and we're opening with a wolf song because this has become a very wolf-heavy show.
Yeah.
I never realized this song was about wolves.
Well, I think it's like they're like.
No, it's like
Yeah, I
it's-
never heard that lyric
it's a-
before.
it's
What did you think they were saying?
I just never could hear what
This
they.
was the name of the song.
I mean, it's actually the title of the track.
Okay, and so anyway, let's try to save that one. She was kidding, guys. It was a joke. All right, let's talk about tonight's episode. We're at the episode of the season, and I think we're coming off to a really strong start. I am feeling really good about where we're going, even though I'm slightly confused. Had to watch the episode twice and still seem to be missing a couple things. How are you guys feeling about this season so far?
Exactly the same way as you. I feel like, so obviously I wasn't here last week, so I did my little catch up.
Welcome back.
And I
sir.
got to watch both the episodes back to back. And I was really excited about that because I was like, oh, it'll make it so much better. Well, I done watched last week's episode twice that I was trying to speed up through the second episode. Like, I love where we're going. I feel like they're doing a really intense job of setup. And I guess because of where we left last season, we kind of have to be in this jumble of, okay, let's put all the pieces back together. Wait, what happened while we were gone? But I'm into it. I kind of like where everyone's going. Everyone came back a little sexier. Ooh. Looking at Elijah's little beard like, hey.
Hey,
Damn
Elijah.
right. Yep.
I agree. I think that there's a lot of information being thrown at us, and I love both the originals and Vampire Diaries' use of the flashback to give us information. But
Yes.
sometimes I feel like the flashbacks are also more confusing because I tend to forget. I'm like, wait, so is this picking up before or after the last time I saw them in this flashback? Like,
Because we have 1,000 years.
Yeah, you know, so sometimes it just confuses me even more.
Well,
Right.
and also with the flashbacks, there's two different kinds when it comes to Julie Plec. You're going to get the one flashback that comes throughout the whole episode that it's teaching you the moral of the episode.
Yes.
Or it's a flashback where it's like, okay, I really have to pay attention because this key moment is going to, allow us in 3 episodes from now to know where
A
the hell we're
loophole
going.
or
Yeah.
whatever it is.
So
Like,
it's
this
like-
is going to be the catalyst for something else. Absolutely. And I thought that tonight's flashback episode, you're saying those two different kinds. I think the third kind is the perspective flashback, because we have seen Marcel at this age before, but we've never seen Marcel at this age from Elijah's perspective. We've always seen him interacting with Klaus, and this was a really different thing that I had never thought about. I never really thought much about what their relationship had been like when Marcel was joining the family. And we got to see a lot of that tonight. So let's talk about these flashbacks. I mean, we're learning more about Cole, who we already knew a good bit about, especially if you're coming over from the Vampire Diaries, because he was over there. I know that Cortez didn't watch the Vampire Diaries, and we have a lot of fans of the originals who don't watch the Vampire Diaries. So let's try to give as much information as we have possible, which is very hard to remember all the details. But basically, it seems to me, and from what I remember, Cole's not the best of the dudes, and neither is Finn. We see in tonight's flashback, he does a lot of murdering. Not that that's very different for a lot of originals.
Right. Yeah.
But he's not as receptive to Marcel joining this family and wants to teach him, like, they're doing this weird theater thing and he wants to watch people getting murdered.
It's live Shakespeare. I mean, it's the best way to learn. Some people are visual learners, you know?
It's a very good point. We should put this in our school system, I believe.
Definitely in the schools.
Right. So Cole's kind of the odd man out. We know Elijah and Klaus so much better because we've been watching them together so much longer. But it's really weird to me watching them as a team now. It's them against Cole, and they stab him twice. They dagger him in this episode. All for Marcel, which was really weird.
Well, it's interesting to me because, I mean, if I was Cole looking at the situation, you know, for how many years you've been getting daggered by your brother, and then here's Marcel, who your brother accepts and calls family and treats family, but
And
you're
saved.
daggering me. And, you know, Cole feels like that outside person because it was Cole and Rebecca. They were kind of the closer of the two, right?
And Cole's upset because he feels Rebecca fears Klaus and
Right.
she's always running. Yeah.
But
I don't know. It'd be interesting to see where Cole ends up because I'm kind of curious.
Yeah, it's just Cole is such a complex person to me right now because we've seen Cole, but we've never really like seen Cole. And seeing him and Elijah in their flashbacks together, kind of, you know, going around tormenting and like massacring people, you know, like every time they're together, it's just like a full building, really? Like,
Yeah.
how many, they said it was like 100 people who lived there or something. They killed them all. Oh, we didn't check the attic. But that kind of behavior like just makes Klaus seem like, oh, okay, so he's not the worst out of his siblings. Like, Cole is bad too, and I think that Klaus gets like the bad name because he's Klaus, but it's like, hey, world, he has another brother who's just as bad as him.
But Cole had been white oaked, so we thought that he was out of the picture, but now he's back in another body. You know, we had Natalie Dreyfus in last week, who was incredible, and she's the one who plays Cassie/Esther on the show, and she gave me such a different perspective on whose side I'm really on, because if we think about it, and this is where you guys at home really come in, you guys have so much knowledge about this show, and there's so many different little giveaways that came from Vampire Diaries or the originals. We would love for you guys on iTunes,
Let's
on
plug
YouTube.
it together.
Guys, go there and comment and let us know if you're remembering specific flashbacks or things we saw about these brothers and about this family. It's always really helpful, and we love exchanging stories of things we remember. So rate, comment, subscribe. We will write back to you. We love you guys. You've been amazing at home. But Cassie came in, Natalie, she came in and she was talking about it, and she was saying, listen, I made my kids immortal, and I made all these monsters. They're monsters, and they kill all these people. So now when I'm watching this, I'm like, is Cole the bad guy? Should he be trying to take out his brothers? It's a really strange feeling.
Well, okay, here's my thing. Like, because we get that comment where Esther says to Klaus about that vampires are plaguing the world, and vampires will always plague the world because they will always hate the living. I thought that was a really deep comment for that to be made, which is interesting because I don't know how I feel about that. Because, I mean, we have Rebecca, who at times was envious of, you know, Elena or other people who were living a normal life. Then we get Stefan, who, you know, had his moments, but he controlled himself to live a certain type. They all found a certain sort of humanity, and I feel like Esther doesn't understand that side of it. Like, it can't.
She is very one-sided.
Vampires can be multi-dimensional.
I agree, but it's weird to think about, and I never think about it this way, but werewolves and witches are the living. I think of them all as supernatural, but really these vampires, they have nothing to lose, and when you have nothing to lose, it's a very dangerous place to be. And it does seem that more of them do harm than good. We have similar storylines going on in Vampire Diaries right now where I'm like, people are starting to take out vampires, and I'm like, I hate that they're doing that because I love these people, but could I say that I wouldn't be one of them? I really don't know. And that's why I love these flashbacks, because we really get to know everybody's perspective. So sticking with what's going on with Marcel, I thought that this was so interesting to watch Elijah's transformation. So Elijah loves Marcel, which is something we haven't seen to this extent. And then he realizes that Klaus loves Marcel so much, and that's the thing that makes Klaus a good the only thing that makes him good. And so he wants to give Marcel back to Klaus by shunning Marcel. So there's all this beef between Marcel and Elijah that I never even realized existed. I mean, did you guys see any hints of that before?
I have seen hints of the tension between them, just in the way that, they interact with each other, but I never really thought about it. I just thought like, oh, well, maybe because, maybe Elijah never really liked him when he came into the house,
Or I thought it was a jealousy thing with Klaus and like, oh, they're friends.
Yeah, it was like Marcel was always Klaus's,
right.
like, not pet, but, that was always Klaus's boy, in my mind. So seeing this with Elijah and Marcel, I was like, oh my gosh, I love it. It's so great. And then he shuns him away, and poor little Marcel's like, you're giving me back over to this guy?
Right. But that's why it's so crazy to see this side of the story, because he shuns him away because he's such a good dude.
Yeah.
He's doing it because he sees that his brother needs that. I mean, I thought that was really beautiful.
Yeah.
I've been feeling a little negative about some of the things that we've seen Elijah do in the past. He's more violent than he is today and all these things, but he really did something good.
I feel like...
Well, he's always done good.
Yeah, all of his flashbacks, he's always had that heart, and it's been something that kind of snapped him to act that way. But like, I don't know. I'm really into where this can now go, now that it's open and out there, and what's gonna happen when Marcel finds out, what's gonna happen when Klaus finds out.
Do you think that he is going to find out? Do you think that this is something that will be told, or do you think this is just something so the audience knows that there's history there?
I think this is another
Eventually.
Classic Klaus. Wow, why can I not get anyone's name straight right now?
It's hard.
Elijah, because Elijah does this all the time. He stops pursuing girls all the time for, to take care of Klaus. He
does things for his sister.
Yeah,
Rebecca.
he does things for his sister. He always puts his family first and in front of his own needs and wants. So, and he never tells them about it. And then they get mad at him for, random things. And I'm like, throw it back in their face. Duh, that's what siblings do. But he never does. So I don't see him ever using this. It might come out to Marcel if they, stay as close as it looks like they might get. Maybe he'll be like, Marcel will confront him about it and
absolutely. And like what Jesse's saying, these flashbacks, we know they're not there for no reason. They're always coming back around. And not only will this come back around with the two of them, but we will talk about later how this is displaying who he is and what he's about to do with Haley. So I think it's really interesting how we've gone full circle this episode. But just sticking with Marcel and Elijah, now they're kind of in this place because they are more similar than Elijah is with his own brother Klaus. Klaus, who is a hybrid, has a lot of wolf in him. And he is with Team Haley and the Wolves. And Elijah and Marcel kind of seem to be the perfect fit for each other.
I mean, they're vampires.
Right, to make a partnership. Are you guys nervous at all about Elijah turning on Klaus, joining up with Marcel, and then going after the Wolves? Or what are you thinking is being set up here?
For starters, I think the number one thing is getting that white oak stake back, because, no one knows how it will be used. And, if someone kills Klaus, then, all the vampires die. And I think right now they're just trying to stay alive and keep their community alive and strong and thriving. So I don't think that going after the wolves Klaus's wolves, I should say, is the first thing on their list, but maybe going after Cassie's wolves is the first thing on their list.
But Cassie's wolves are Klaus's wolves. They are the same as when Klaus says, I could kill all of them right now to Cassie, and she says, but then you hope to lead them in the future. So it's like, incestual almost at this point.
Yep.
You know, everybody is another person's wolf. But with the white,
my wolf, guys.
I will be little wolf, little wolf. With Marcel and Elijah, though, they are after the white oak stake because if Elijah or Klaus is stabbed, then Marcel will die if Klaus is stabbed. Elijah, his whole line. You know, if you remember, I think we learned that on Vampire Diaries, and then it was brought up on the originals. But if any of the originals are killed with a white oak stake, then all of the people that they turned end up dying, which the bloodline goes on and on. So I think that that's why they joined together. But I don't know. It's confusing because they go over to Davina. I don't feel as if we know for certain where the white oak stake is. Do you guys know? I'm not positive where it is. Yeah.
Well, we know Michael has it.
Well, but you can't use it. I'm saying, like, I'm not positive where it's going to go. I'm not sure what we're going to do because Davina's trying to do this spell, so I don't know where we're at with it. Because if he can't unsire her friends, then
You can't kill Klaus.
then you can't kill them. So are we going to use it, or is she going to find the spell, or is Michael going to help her find the spell, or is she going to grow a fondness for Elijah and Klaus?
I think that's going to happen. I think Davina, Elijah, and Klaus will all work with each other eventually.
Because, I mean, Davina was down to work with Elijah before, you know, he did what he did at the end of last season and stuff. So there is that part of Davina that can work with Klaus and Elijah, but she just has to get over her anger and, you know, all the things. She has to drop things because Klaus and Elijah have done stuff to everyone, Marcel included. But look, he's taking them back. And
I think it's interesting that we have Esther and Michael
both back.
Yeah, playing
Really
the same field. So
Interesting.
I'm wondering how that could kind of turn out because they're technically kind of fighting the same battle.
Yeah.
This is what we asked to Natalie when she was in the studio. We don't know what their relationship is anymore at this point. Like, I'm
How it ended.
How it ended? Are they if they saw each other? Is it fireworks or is it fire?
What did
Like,
she say?
She said that they don't know. She said that they don't know. They went out to, the two actors went out to dinner the other day and discussed. So what do we think's going on? But I guess maybe they haven't gotten that far in the scripts yet. Which
Really?
Yeah, I don't know. We know she just went back to film again, so clearly we're getting there, and I'm sure she read scripts on the plane and we're figuring out what their relationship is. But I think that it's very up in the air, and it's definitely going to go one way or the other. You know, it's either very, very strong love or very strong hate because we don't do anything in between on this show.
No.
So,
It'll be one parent deciding that, you know what, I'm going to save the kids, or it's going to be both. They'll be like the ultimate bad guys at the end, like the kids versus the parents.
Oh, I don't know. I feel like maybe one could help, one could hurt, whatever it is.
Cole and Finn are actually really interesting to me to see where they will kind of play. Will they stay on the parent side, or will they come over to their brother?
So let's talk about that because it's really interesting right now. One of them is being more honest than the other. So we have Cole, who is actually pretending to be Caleb in this like sexy, gorgeous man body who is dating Davina. He ditches
that
her.
accent, though.
Oh, that accent! I know. He ditches her for coffee in the morning, but then.
Go spy on her.
To go spy on her because he wants to know what she's hiding, and we know she's hiding Michael, but he doesn't know what she's hiding. And she in such a classic girl fashion, he ditches her, gives no explanation, then asks her out for dinner, and she's so happy again. She's like, "Oh, okay, he's gonna make it up to me over dinner," and I'm like, "Girl,
Hey.
girl,
I've
hey."
been there, girl.
I not that I haven't, but it's like, oh man, Davina, you really need. We hear her talk about her parents tonight. You know, I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
I missed
Look.
that. You need like a figure in your life.
Right,
It's like
this bitch has
Marcel.
lived in our attic. She was playing with spiders.
I know.
Like, she's like, a man
She's, like,
wants
painting.
me.
She's like, yes.
I know.
Coffee.
I know.
Dessert, lunch, yes.
I
Just give it to me
know.
all.
And we do hear her talk to Marcel about it for a second, but she really doesn't know what it's like to have that adult figure in her life say, "Honey, if a man ditches you in the morning, you don't go out for dinner with him at night."
But I did love how Marcel was like, do I need to kill him? Like, say the
Marcel,
word, he's
yeah,
dead.
yeah.
And I was like, yes, Marcel, big brother to the rescue. You know, finally someone defending her and like trying to teach her the lessons. I just wish he got to the part where when he texts you again, you say no. You wait 3 days to text him back.
Come on now, Marcel, get with the dating rules. Yeah, no, absolutely. I actually think that'd be really cute if we saw that through this season, although maybe not so cute because we know that Caleb's actually Cole.
Well, yeah, and then Davina's gonna get real mad, and then we know what happened when Davina get mad.
Yeah, the whole world shakes. Earth and Fire. What did you guys think about this actual dinner, though? Because I'm seeing sparks, and I know that I have a tendency when I see a man and woman on screen to be like, oh, they're in love.
So for it.
So it's just the way I am. But I thought that Cole was kind of feeling Davina.
I honestly, the only thing I can kind of see why that could happen and would happen is because I really feel like one of the brothers, and they've brought Cole into the show so many times, more so than Finn, that I feel like one of the brothers is going to side with Elijah and Klaus. And so that could be almost a way for it to kind of organically happen.
Right.
I could see that happening, but I don't necessarily trust Cole because even in the flashbacks we saw of him, he is a ladies' man. He knows exactly what to say to get a girl to take her panties off. And he's using it on Davina right now. That is why his mother sent him on the date and not Finn. She needed someone who could woo Davina, and Davina being the 16-year-old girl that she is, you know.
Is she still 16?
Cute boy. Yeah, right? I mean, I don't think 5 years has gone by since.
I don't know. She's just...
But it's just she is still young and impressionable, and if a boy who looked like that with an accent like that and probably abs like that was talking to me when I was 16, I would give him anything he wanted.
Yeah, coffee, lunch, dinner.
I know.
And Esther knows that, so I don't believe Cole that he's actually into Davina. I think he enjoys being a flirt.
Okay, but let's go here for a second. So Finn ends up showing up on the date and says, hey, you're stalling. What are you doing? And he's like, I'm schmoozing. What are you going to do? Bore her to death until she tells you what's going on? But the more interesting part is that we actually see Cole sees Michael. Cole sees his dad, which, I mean, how we got there is that Davina and Cole, the wolves are unleashed on them by Finn and by Esther. The wolves are unleashed. They're under attack. Davina does her ruby slippers together and is like, there's no place like home. Michael, come out. Michael comes there and he just starts eating and tearing apart all these wolves. And Cole sees it. But when his mother asks him about it later, he says that he was knocked out and didn't see what Davina's secret weapon is. So he is lying to his mother because Tiona
don't trust no man.
No.
Watch what.
No. Get this though. His mother is trying to kill all vampires.
True.
Why? He wants to come back to life.
In bringing him back, he's like, Mom, you brought me back. You put me in this body. What is your plan for this? Her plan is to kill Elijah and Klaus and Rebecca and then kill Finn and Cole right back dead again. I think Cole's finally starting to notice this and like, wait a second, I know about a weapon. I'm gonna keep this information in my back pocket because what Mama don't know can't hurt her, and I'm gonna stay alive this time.
Okay, I absolutely think that's a really great, can we call that a prediction? Because I think it's a really great prediction. But I do think...
You're still gonna go back to Cole.
I do think that it's maybe that... And he thinks Davina's cute because she is.
I mean, yeah, but he would just probably hit it and quit it like he always does.
No, there comes a time when the player gotta quit playing the game.
1,000 years old.
And
he is 1,000 years old.
It's gonna be death. Yeah, exactly.
I mean, and he's been around the block a couple of years.
He's also been dead for a while.
That's true.
And I mean, he probably realizing...
He's trying to get it back in.
He's used to that, though. He's used to being dead for a few years and coming back. Right. That's what his siblings did. I have to say, though, just full disclosure, I also felt a little bit of vibes with Davina and Marcel. So.
See, that I could see happening more than
incest.
Oh, I'm sick in the head.
I mean, it is incest, but I mean, it's also like, you know, best friends become lovers sometimes.
Not when one's 30-something, the other one's 16.
Cole is 1,000 years old and she's 16.
Right, but Cole doesn't have that brother-sister relationship. Like, it's just weirder with Marcel because they have that, like, family, like, I don't know. I just feel like that's like, he's like her older brother.
I mean,
yeah.
but Marcel still fell in love with Rebecca, and they had that same sort of relationship.
That's true.
No, I feel like they were more like...
Well, they were in love
like,
first.
I want them to be in love. That's what I want the end game to be.
Well, that's true. We got to see Rebecca come back, and last week we teased that she very well might be coming back, so that would be awesome. But let's go back to your prediction here, because I'm trying to break this apart. So why would, if he wants to stay alive, why would hiding the fact that Michael's alive help him?
Because he knows how things ended with Esther and Michael.
But we don't know.
But we don't know.
And
So he
really,
knows-
they don't know.
I feel like if Esther or Cassie were to find out that Michael is here, maybe that's the one thing that would scare even her. And so
it would
he's
scare
just kind of...
Esther.
Yeah.
Because do you feel like Michael's stronger than Esther?
I feel like Michael isn't happy with it. She cheated on him with the werewolf,
But is
made
he,
his
maybe he's
children
still in
all
love,
monsters.
Though. Maybe he just loves her again, though.
No, Michael doesn't
Michael
like
don't
nobody.
Okay.
He ain't looking for love.
So he's just looking to kill, and they're looking to kill. They have a common goal. Maybe that, two
think
enemies
that
with a
could-
common
yeah.
enemy.
I could see that happening.
Okay, but we think that Cole might turn, but Finn is going to stay Team Mom because he's
I
a
feel
little
like
mama's
Finn's
boy.
gonna die.
Finn's always been Team Mom.
Finn's gonna die.
Finn's gonna die.
I feel like.
Esther's hands.
Someone's. I just feel like Finn's gonna be that character to die.
Okay,
I feel
could
like
see
Esther
it.
would just be like, sorry, we lost him in battle. Like, wouldn't really, like, she'd care.
And that would be the thing that Cole's like, oh shit.
Yeah, I think whole scene, like, we are just pawns. His mother also gave the order for the wolves to attack them. He didn't know that, She's
Yeah.
like, oh, well, I need to look real. He's realizing,
And he has
I'm
that
just
big
a pawn
scar.
in her games right now.
Absolutely.
She doesn't care because the end game is to end all vampires. He is a
Right.
vampire without...
If you die now, it's just you saving me
Yeah.
later from having to kill you later.
What did you guys think about the fact that Davina, who's all powerful, lost control, lost the bracelet? Michael almost killed her, and then Marcel and Elijah came back and saved her, but she seemed kind of annoyed
I think
with
she
that.
thinks they sent the attack.
Oh.
Yeah.
I think she
No
thinks they had...
way. There's no
Think
way
about-
she thinks
She was
that.
on the phone with him. Marcel just got done saying, people are going to be coming after you for that White Oak steak because you're not safe. And then all of a sudden she's getting attacked in this restaurant with a guy who she thinks is just a normal witch like her who doesn't really practice anymore. Like the timing is just
But
a
Marcel
little...
would never do that.
We know that.
Well,
Deep
what could-
down, Davina knows that, but,
Yeah.
Ish happens.
Yeah, so that's why she's upset. Okay. And then Marcel's other thing that he's got going on is that he's trying to make a vampire army. So at the end of the episode, we see him snap. Her name is Gia, who we saw last week. She was introduced. She was the one that finally found her way back. He snaps her neck and says to Elijah, she's going to need a mentor. So that's on you. A little aggressive.
Right. Like,
What role is Gia going to have in any of this? Like that, you're very far away off from having an army. I mean,
I think we're seeing him slowly build back up to what he had when he
Yeah.
was running the quarter. He's starting from ground zero. Maybe Gia's going to be his new, like...
is it Gia?
Gia?
I don't know.
It's GIA. You could say it either way. But maybe she's going to be his new, like, second in command or, kind of like the main person, because even last week we kind of saw that he really believed a little bit in her, like that she might be, a good fit for becoming a vampire.
Well, because she was compelled and she still had that urge to come back. So that's pretty strong. And they were holding more meetings trying to find more people. So I wonder how that's going to come into play and whether Davina is going to get a little jealous of that, you think, when Marcel has all of these other people, or whether she'll get back on board with Team Marcel. Seems like their relationship's a little on the rocks. Some other people whose relationship's a little on the rocks, and like I said, we're coming full circle, is Haley and Elijah and Klaus and everybody else for that matter. Haley is not doing so hot with her people.
Anybody.
Yeah, with her people.
She's
so,
poor Haley.
I know. So Haley is trying to be okay just every day, trying to deal with the fact that she lost a child, and by lost I don't mean it died, I mean that it's gone. And she looks at Klaus at one point and is like, are you feeling any pain at all? Because you don't seem like you're feeling pain. And he says, I have a different way of dealing with this than you do. You know, all I think about is getting revenge.
Which I feel like she should have knew that.
Yeah.
Everyone knows that about Klaus.
Come on, don't you watch the show?
Get a TV, Haley.
Yeah, come on. So we see Haley, she goes in and she finally is convinced by Klaus. They're playing a little good cop, bad cop for a minute here with the wolves, and Klaus almost kills Oliver, who is the not alpha wolf, but trying to be the alpha wolf, because where's Jax? No idea where he is. And Haley then finally, Tiona, you take over here and tell us what Haley does with the wolves.
So apparently Roxy watched this episode twice.
It's confusing, okay?
Somehow missed the scene where Haley comes back to the mansion with a bunch of wolves and is like, take the rooms upstairs, and Klaus is like, whoa, what are we running, like an orphanage here? And she's like, you told me to be a leader, I'm doing just that. And then she tells him what she's done and how she has Oliver, you know, going to pledge his allegiance to the witches, but he's going to be reporting back to her about everything that they're up to. And Elijah has this like smirk on his face of like, yeah, now that's my kind of thinking. Like everything she did, Klaus was so proud of her in that moment. He wasn't gonna say it, and I mean, most people might not have thought it, but I read it as Klaus being a proud little papa bear, being like, "Wow, like she really did step up to the plate and do exactly what needed to be done."
She's their queen, and now we're gonna see. I'm really worried about where Elijah's gonna stand in all this. Like we were talking about, whether he's gonna go with Team Marcel, because he's doing exactly what he did with Marcel years ago, where he backs away so that Klaus can be a good human and do things for a greater good. That's what he's doing again. He sees what Klaus did for Haley, and that Klaus is the one who got Haley to the point where she is a little better now. And he's like, that wasn't me. I didn't do that. Klaus did that. And if that's what Haley needs, then I need to back off. So then he leaves, and Haley kind of chases after and says, where are you going? And he's like, I gotta go.
So you saw that part, but you missed the whole like scene that was right before it.
I mean,
because it was all one like tied together sequence.
Here's what happens on this show. Here's what happens. I get so caught up in every little detail that I'll still be thinking about the last point. Speaking of the last point, I mean, we see this whole thing about Klaus is with Elijah, and they put together the pieces that both Michael and Esther are alive, and then Klaus is like, the question is, who do we kill first? Which one of our parents do we kill first? And I'm like, I just don't know.
Like,
at this point,
who's the worst of the two evils? I don't know.
Coin flip, mom or dad. Like,
they both want you dead, so you better hope that they don't team up together and come after you, because you might be, that's all she wrote.
Yeah.
See, I would try and go after Esther first, because right now Davina's got Michael taken care of.
And Esther scares me more for some reason.
Well, she's a witch. She can be like, boom.
From like not even the same room though.
Right.
Yeah.
Like she's 5 blocks away, just going boom, and you're on the floor. You don't know why.
I don't know.
Right,
Michael
pouring
doesn't.
blood on a map, and it's like all of a sudden your hand behind your neck. What's going on?
We know Davina has control over Michael right now, but when she doesn't, what we saw Michael do to those werewolves tonight, Michael's crazy though. Like, not to be underestimated.
No, and he cannot get no white oak.
Right? No.
Yeah.
Of course not. And we have no more show because everybody's dead. But it will just be called werewolves. But that's why it's so confusing on who's on what team, because Elijah and Klaus have to pair together to take down their parents, but Marcel and Elijah have to pair together to take down the wolves, which is Klaus.
Marcel's gonna, I think, I just think it's gonna be everybody versus the parents. I think it's gonna get to a point where Marcel, Elijah, Klaus will have to work with each other. Haley will have to work with them. The vampires and the werewolves will have to work with each other, because then it's just the witches. And
Cammy was really good in tonight's episode.
she was, honestly, this season she stepped it up.
I'm just kidding though, because she wasn't there. She wasn't in tonight's episode.
Oh no, see, because I watched the first episode.
Oh, yeah.
But I was gonna say, actually, acting wise, I feel like I'm liking her character more.
We hear she's gonna get more of a storyline, but I'm just joking because last week we heard that, and then she literally wasn't in tonight's episode, because where is the human involvement in this supernatural world?
I'm fine with that. I don't need humans.
Yeah, she should go chill with Maddie Blue Eyes, you know?
I just feel like the
TBD.
witches for me are
Human
good enough human element because they don't actually transform into anything.
Unless you are, unless you're Esther.
No, but see, my thing is, I don't, like, with these shows, like, Mystic Falls is a different thing with Vampire Diaries, but, like, the originals, like, I don't like, there's no place for humans because... If you think about it, these humans, would you be sitting up in the French Quarter if you knew that werewolves and vampires were fighting each other?
If I was compelled to. Honestly, I do like the human aspect because I do like relating to it, but sometimes there's no need for it in an episode, and tonight there was clearly no need or place.
I can relate to the supernatural.
Oh, can you?
I am supernatural, so I'd like to put that on the record right now.
I think we just did.
We had, you guys, again, for the YouTube comments, you guys were amazing, but Tiona, we had a couple YouTube comments about how you'd make a great vampire.
I mean, I'd love to be a great vampire.
Those were out there that you would make a great vampire. I saw that. You would be awesome.
I wonder who knows about your sucking skills.
Okay, on that note, let's just go to some predictions, please. All right.
Sorry, Bad Girls closes up next.
Okay. So, guys, what do we think? Is there anything we didn't really discuss? They're not daylight rings; they're moonlight. Nightlight.
What's up at night?
Let's plug my nightlight in. The moonlight rings. Is this going to have a part in the fact that that the wolves are going to be stronger because of when they have control over their powers, or do we think that this is just?
I mean, we saw how the moonlight rings affect Klaus last episode, so I think it's definitely going to be to their advantage.
Well, those were special rings taking away his powers. I don't know
because of his linking his blood. So I don't know if she's using the same stuff that she was using the last time.
I think this one just makes it so that they don't have to turn at the full moon. I don't think it has anything to do with Klaus, but that doesn't mean it couldn't at some point down the line.
My question, sorry, this is not related to that at all.
Totally fine.
Cole and Finn, they are back from the dead in other bodies, but I said all night like how they're vampires, but are they vampires right now? Because I think they're just humans who are, because they're inside a human's body, right?
What's confusing is that Cole claimed to Davina that he's a witch. So if I was a witch and somebody told me they were a witch, I'd call their bluff and be like, do something witchy. Right. You know? Yeah. So why would he say that if he was not supernatural in any way? I feel like he's got to be able to prove himself at some point. At some point, she's going to say, dude, you're like, do something. Right. So I think that maybe he has some powers, but we don't know exactly what those are.
Yeah. Okay. I just was thinking.
And the bodies that came back in, as we know, Esther came back in Cassie's body. Cassie was a witch.
Yeah. Right.
She was one of the Harvest Witch. So maybe she took on Cassie's powers on top of hers, or maybe they are witches that all of the bodies are. I think they're all supernatural in some way.
Okay. And didn't you guys find it kind of weird when Davina was being attacked by wolves and she like did to one guy, and then when it was like, can you do it to the rest, and she said no? I thought Davina was supposed to be like really ridiculously powerful. And I know after the harvest, like
that's the confusing
things
part.
got weird, but still, like I felt like only being able to go to one of them was kind of like, really, that's all you got?
Yeah. I agree, but it goes back to her being young, and also the fact that she used to have all these powers. Now she doesn't have as many powers. She doesn't know how to control the powers. She was overwhelmed. She's trying to impress a cute guy. She's like, like
she's like Bonnie from Vampire Diaries.
She's like what Bonnie's like now, trying to rediscover the powers. Okay. Exactly. And then what we see next week in the preview, these previews are always so bizarre. They're having family dinner next week. Esther's inviting all the kids. You know, it's going to be really, really sweet with the family dinner. Like, what are we going to watch? No idea.
So is she going to tell them that, you know, oh, I am Esther, and this is Cole, and this is Finn. We're back. Like,
I write family dinner. I say family dinner, and Jesse writes, that's cute.
I did write.
That's cute. Okay. Guys, do we have any other predictions for next week?
Lots of blood.
There will be blood.
There will be blood.
Okay.
And
I'm just saying, I think Cole's going to be on the good team eventually. That's my prediction. On Klaus and Elijah.
Yeah, okay. Cole's definitely stepping over. He's leaving Mom because he's
not
like,
dying.
I'm not dying. I just got back. I got a lot of ladies I need to bone.
And then he falls in love with Davina and is happily ever after.
I see the Davina thing happening, actually.
I can see it. I can see it.
Fall into no vampire.
Okay, so if everybody's at home and they're dying to talk to you guys before next week because they just can't wait an entire week to talk about this amazing show, the originals, where can they find you?
Tweet
Tweet, Instagram, at me, at the Tiona Hobson.
At DJ Jesse J.
And you guys can find me at Roxy Striar. You can find us at AFTERBUZZ TV. As always, YouTube, iTunes, rate, comment, subscribe. We love talking to you guys. We respond to everything you guys say. You guys are so amazing. Until next week.
Same time, same place. Peace.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.